So Richard, let's start with you. What does it mean to be a boy in 2024?
Well, I'm not a boy anymore, in case that's not obvious to the crowd, but I have raised 3 sons, all in their 20s now, which is one of the reasons I think I'm drawn to this work. And I think the very fact that doesn't have an obvious answer anymore, that's a box with a big question mark in it now. And a lot of boys are struggling with that. And I would say that the best answer to that is probably not to tell, but to show. And what we should be showing is that mature masculinity, which is a phrase I much prefer to thinking about toxic and non-toxic, which maybe we'll get into, is actually just about being generative. I think I've tried to raise my boys. I think we should try to raise our sons that actually just being for yourself is the opposite of masculinity. That masculinity and being a boy is about relationships. It's about being generative. It's about giving more than you get.
See, that's crazy right there.
And so there's this online movement, some of you may have heard of, called the Men Going Their Own Way movement. It's like a male separatist movement, basically saying, oh, screw this, I'm off, everyone hates me. Men going their own way aren't men at all.
You serious?
In my view, is that men who are in communities, in families, who are kind of giving more than they get, that's what I think it means. That's what I think the aspiration should be. But I honestly think a lot of boys right now don't have a good answer, and so they go looking online for an answer, and find some pretty bad ones, honestly.
This guy said, men going their own way are not real men. And he believes men should be just givers and don't expect much back. Like, what kind of mindset is that? Like, just ignore good and evil and all that aspect of this topic, like if mgtow is good or bad, let's ignore that. But what kind of mindset is that? Just be a provider and don't expect much in return. That itself is such a bad topic, and if he's teaching his sons that kind of thing, man, the women are going to take so much advantage of the sons. It's crazy. Let me know what you guys feel about this.
Young guys are doing with their time and energy. Porn, social media, video games, the beast, the false prophet, and the antichrist. That's what they're doing. Single guys in your 20s, here's what we know. 68% of guys in their 20s today are not dating a woman, not intending to date a woman, have no actual interest in a relationship with a female, and are making no movement toward marriage whatsoever. The last few years, a lot of young men just moved home with their mother. They have no intention of ever moving out until they can find a girlfriend in her 20s or 30s with a good job and low expectations. And then their hope is to move into her house and have her pick up where mom left off. And what these are generational curses and bad patterns that are destroying young men. Destroying young men. And today, young men are an endangered species. And everything in our culture is to absolutely remove their masculinity and to ruin their legacy.
Again, all their meaning of masculinity is men being providers for no reason and getting nothing in return. See how they're trying to portray that the guys who are in this moment are living in some mother's basement and they're looking for another woman just to move into her basement. Man, these people make no sense to me. What do you all feel about this?
A growing number of younger Americans aren't dating. They're not hanging out. And no, they're not even hooking up. For so many women who want to date men, dating has become a total nightmare. And there are a number of reasons why. I have heard from a lot of young women who want to date young men that there are none. There are no guys. They're trying to connect. They often use dating apps, but find a total lack of connection. And it seems that the men they are meeting don't really share the same priorities if they show up. Women, especially career-driven women, say the men they're meeting are more interested in sex and not looking for a deeper connection, and that it's becoming more and more of a problem. So what's changing? Because not that long ago, people used to meet each other through work, let's be honest, or through friends, maybe at a bar or in a college campus. And it gave people a chance to actually learn about each other, to break through the filters, to demonstrate kindness and show commitment and values, to actually earn affection. But today, So many people are living life through a screen. They're not going out nearly as much, not to church, not to movies, or even to the office. Opportunities to fall in love are falling by the wayside, meaning people are making decisions by swiping left on their smartphones rather than truly learning to connect. The highs, the lows, the disappointments, all of that stuff.
Wow, they try online dating apps and wonder why men don't stick around or have deeper connection. They just want to sleep around and then just move on. They really wonder why that's happening. A little bit of study or just Google search will let you know that only 10 or just 5% of men get selected on these dating apps. These men have so much option that they can sleep around almost every day with different women. That's the kind of option dating apps give them. And then they wonder why such men don't stick around. It's a very simple math, but they just don't understand it. And before understanding why men don't stick around, you should figure out why women aren't qualified enough for most men. Because look at them, modern women aren't worth it.
And it's affecting mental health too. According to a recent study of people over the age of 18, those who used swipe-based dating apps experienced significantly higher rates of psychological distress, anxiety, and depression. Another study showed a link between using dating apps and experiencing loneliness, dissatisfaction with life, and this is a big one, a feeling of exclusion from the world, feeling so left out. And when women do go to coffee shops, what we're hearing is that they try, or to a club or the grocery store, or anything where they get out and interact with people, they say the men that they want to meet just don't share their ideals. It's partly because so many young men are spending their lives also logged in, overly influenced by a flood of whatever you can find online, porn, video games, toxic masculinity. Who needs the real thing when you can get something better, and I put that in quotes, by scrolling? Here's what Scott Galloway, professor of marketing at NYU, told us on Morning Joe about some of the reasons why men are becoming like this.
See what they did there? All of a sudden they try to put all the blame on men without realizing that the woman only choose the good-looking guys, which are very rare, even on those coffee shops or supermarket or whatever they're trying to find. They're only looking for good-looking guys who are tall and all that stuff. And they're probably looking for a guy who's spending more just to assume that he's earning more. They're doing all that stuff. And then they wonder why such men are not choosing them, because such men already have common sense that women are going to pick on them on certain situations are very desperate. Only desperate women do that. And they don't want such kind of woman. Let's be honest.
I think you have the most talented, well-resourced people in the world and companies trying to convince a young man that he can have a reasonable facsimile of life in his basement behind a screen. You don't need friends. Go on Reddit or Discord. You don't need to get a job. Go on Robinhood or Coinbase and trade crypto and stocks. You don't need to go through the rejection and the expense and the humiliation and working out and having a plan and humor and showering to get a romantic relationship. You have YouPorn. So we have an entire generation, especially of young men, who are out home sequestering from society and missing out on what it means. There's a reason romantic comedies are 2 hours and not 15 minutes. True victory in life is hard. Going out, meeting someone, finding mentors, finding mates, that stuff is hard, but that's what real victory in real life is like. And because a lot of men feel rejected on dating apps, the number of jobs that are accessible to them has gone down. You have essentially a group of men who are saying, I want a low-risk entry into life, and they go down a rabbit hole. When they don't have social connections, and they don't get out, and they don't have the prospect of a romantic relationship, they're more prone to conspiracy theory, they're more prone to misogynistic content, they're less likely to believe in climate change, and some they become really bad citizens. We are producing too many of the most dangerous person in the world.
Oh, scary! Oh, shiver my timbers! Shut up, man!
And that is a young, broke, and lonely young man.
Wow. As Professor Galloway pointed out, 1 in 3 relationships used to begin at work. Now young people are not going into the office as often. And if you are a young man at work, are you more or less inclined to express some sort of romantic interest in a potential partner now than you were 40 years ago? The answer is clearly no. And by the way, men and women have been told in many places that if you have feelings for someone at work, you have to go to HR first. That'll kill the moment. And I get why that's the policy. I get how we got here. Having said that, the unforeseen consequences of the Me Too movement, or of Me Too in general, and the problems that began the movement, that's a show we need to do at some point. And we have to have a really honest conversation about that. But that's not this show.
Yeah, we are very well aware what kind of conversation you're going to have about that topic. It's of course going to be about men. Only men have to control themselves. Men have to do this, men have to do that. Women have to do nothing. They're perfect. They can't do anything. False allegations? Nah, women can't do that. They're innocent. That's all the kind of bullshit they're gonna talk. And we can already sense it. And previously she mentioned that like single lonely men are very dangerous and stuff. But they don't seem to ask that why women aren't interested in those. Like, they can clearly solve the issue if women are into those men. But clearly, women only date up. They're not gonna find some broke guy and settle with him or improve his life. They're not gonna look for that. But men, on the other hand, they have been doing that for centuries, looking after this broke woman. That doesn't seem to be a problem, and it's supposed to be a normal thing. Make it make sense. So when women are lonely, we are supposed to feel sorry for them. But when men are lonely, we are mocked and called incels. Exactly. I saw somewhere on the internet they said that feminism didn't only free women, it freed men from being the family cash cow. Now that's one way to put it. They're trying to use sign language to shame men in a mass chase women again. This propaganda is funny. Exactly. It's always about men being the wrong. A woman can never be wrong. They are so pure. The worst thing anyone is lacking in this society is women and accountability. Men don't need to hustle to support themselves. We can get through life with far less money. Yeah, that's what I said in a previous video, man. Men can live satisfying life with minimal things in life. We no longer have to work as much harder because we don't have to impress women, which in return they needed more money because that's what they look in a man. But since we're not interested in women anymore, we have a lot of burden taken out of, and we can enjoy life more peacefully now. Well, that's just me. Let me know what you guys feel about this.
There was a study called from the Pew Center for Research conducted a study that said 63% of men under age 30 would rather stay home and watch porn than go on a date. Men say they are getting their needs met without having to go on a date. Would men rather stay single than be with a woman is the question.
That's what they're saying, pretty much.
63% of men.
I think they're cheap.
What a joker. Yeah, they just ain't got no money.
They don't have money, which you should get your money up before you start dating. So it is cheaper to sit home and beat your meat than actually go out and find actual women to hang out with.
That's a sad reality.
I disagree.
Why? What do you think?
Is it less of a headache to have to deal with a woman or something?
There it goes. Like, it's a headache. Now I gotta take you out. I gotta hear what you had to tell your whole day.
That's why you take out people you actually like, and then you don't feel that.
Yeah, but then I gotta get to know you first to like you, right?
Yeah.
So how do I get to know you?
Call on the phone.
You rather hand?
Hey, listen, I'm married.
You always gotta say. Okay, so
these nigga problems.
If you wasn't married,
I'd probably beat him. I mean, 100 miles an hour.
But we're going to begin this hour with a not-so-bravo topic. We're talking about jobs and a major hiring crisis. It's a problem, really, bigger and older than the Great Resignation you've heard so much about. It's a problem you're not going to find in the unemployment rate, which is, of course, at near record lows. And it's because a large number of American men in particular, men in their prime working years, are actually not working, and they're not even looking for work. The result is a bit of a mystery and also a major hole in the American economy.
My name's Mike Rowe, and this is my job.
On dirty jobs, even then, everywhere we went, we saw help wanted signs.
It turns out dozens of real-life economists and other researchers have a possible explanation: a long-term decline in male labor force participation, or as one think tank summarized it, men not at work.
This is a men problem by and large, right?
Seems to be.
Look back to the 1950s, and 98% of men in their so-called prime working years had a job or were looking for one. That number has fallen ever since, to the point where today more than 7 million men have essentially dropped out of the workforce.
We've given a lot of people a lot of options. And incredibly, one of those options is do nothing.
Jay Timmons, who leads the National Association of Manufacturers, describes all this as a profound problem for the companies he represents.
99.9% of them will say that their number one challenge right now is being able to fill those open jobs.
So you are here as a representative of more than 14,000 manufacturers in these United States. And the number one problem for 99 out of 100 of them is filling jobs.
Yeah.
So you may wonder, what are these guys doing instead of work? Well, kind of what you might expect. Spending nearly 7 hours each weekday on average relaxing, playing games, and watching TV.
So how is it, from where you're sitting, from your understanding, that people can do nothing all day and still have enough money for a bag of chips?
Oh, well, it's almost as though some entity is paying them. It's almost as if somebody is not letting them fail. It's as if some giant parent somewhere has...
An uncle, maybe?
Could be a rich uncle. Yes. Could be a very wealthy uncle.
It's a fascinating story.
7 million men, and they're watching 7 additional hours
I was
going to
say that,
and relaxing.
Yeah,
per
that
day.
figure got me.
It's wild.
Are the women in their lives, or the partners in their lives working?
So this is where it gets a little bit political. People on the right will say these guys are just living off government largesse. They're getting disability, they're benefiting from aid, and that's got to be reformed. And people on the left say they just need to be trained up. And yeah, in the meantime, they're living at home or they're depending on partners. In fact, these guys who are not working and not looking for work are spending less time caring for other household members than the guys who are at work. So they're doing less childcare, not even a little bit more.
I don't know, but an able-bodied man who can work and doesn't, it's not attractive. I'm just going to say, not attractive.
And on that note...
Right, and men are just dying to get your attention. Let's see what we got for comments for this whole scenario. Gotta love how they interview everyone for this piece except men between 25 and 54 who are not working. Exactly, instead of taking opinions about people who are not actually working, but like why they are not working, what's the reason, they would rather go for these big ones who have these businesses. Of course, they're gonna badmouth about the employees, the lack of employees, instead of how the work culture is or whatever it is. Man, this is crazy. They made a whole segment about the wave of men leaving workforce, and they couldn't even find a single one to interview. Exactly. I can tell you as a college graduate in prime working age, corporations aren't hiring like they are saying they are. Exactly, man. All those ads on LinkedIn and everything, most are just fake, or at least they don't respond back. My husband is in his prime working years and has applied to hundreds of jobs without any offers. He's qualified, skilled. They don't really want to hire. They make it look like they want to hire, but prefer to make one employee do work of 3 and pay for 1. Exactly. That's exactly what you would find for most corporate.
Have 7 million men ages 25 to 54, not working or looking for work. 7 million. You can't build a civilization, a culture, a nation, an economy on men who are not activated and working and producing. What it means is you have far more consumers than producers. And then you have a whole generation of young men that are going to vote to increase the taxes on men who are working to reallocate wealth, which is stealing. And the result is at some point you run out of other people's money. That's why we now have record national debt. And now credit card debt in America has for the first time reached over $1 trillion. So men are not going to work or working. In addition, they are not generating income, but they're expecting the government to provide for them.
See how they try to manipulate things? They try to blame young men for making smart decisions to not work as much harder as the older generation of men did because they had to raise family and stuff. But what do they get in return? They get cheated on, get divorced, get their half of the stuff taken by, and which in return benefits the government. So that's why they want to say all these things, because it's affecting the government. Now men don't have to work as much harder because no one is aiming for the family, which actually costs a lot of money to raise. Now men can just do normal jobs or just to enjoy their hobbies and life, which doesn't need much, and it's kind of enjoyable. But now they don't want that because that makes men not much ambitious or goal-oriented. That's debatable. That's every man to every, it differs from every man. Not all men are going to be goal-oriented and all that. Some just want to relax, just enjoy minimal things in life and just be on their way. But they don't want that because now men are not working hard, so they're not going to make more money. In return, they cannot tax those men because they're not making that much money. See, that's why they're mad.
We told young men, don't go to work, it's dangerous. Don't make a plan, the world's coming to an end. Move home with your mother, she'll take care of you. Sit on the couch, watch, eat DoorDash, scroll through social media until you have mental illness, and that's fine, we'll deposit money in your account. And so now you got a bunch of fearful, soft beta males who are passive with mental health, a whole generation. They've never seen a dad in the home. They've never seen a man get up and go to work. So they don't understand that that's what a man is, and that's what a man does.
Provoked for men who refuse to step into this. I feel grief for you. I want more for you, and I want more for your wives and more for your children. Everything works right when men are being men instead of boys who can shave. And oh, that we would grow into what God... Man, we're going to stumble. It's hard. God meant it to be hard. That's how much He loves you. He's going to make sure you couldn't do it on your own. You're going to need to sit in the driveway and pray. You were going to need to late at night go, Lord, help me. I will kill somebody. Lord, help me. Help me right now, Lord. Give me a verse. Not that one. Give me nothing Old Testament. Give me something happy. Give me something out of the Psalms. There we go. Thank you, Lord. Right?
Man to pay for the date. Yes, the whole entire date. That includes my Uber to the date and my Uber back to my house. If you are a man that I'm interested in, I want to see that you can provide for me. I want to see that you can afford an Uber ride. I want to see that you can afford a nice dinner date. Can you afford basic things? Because if you can't afford dinner and an Uber, my transportation, you certainly can't afford kids.
I don't care what anybody says, but a guy should always be paying for dates. I already know the men are going to come in my comments crying and screaming. I don't care. If you're okay with splitting the bill, if you're okay with taking turns paying, if you're okay with being the one that's paying for most of the things, fine. That's on you, girl. But me, There are men out there who are literally paying for full-blown vacations for women, flying them out, paying for every single thing they could ever want. And you're gonna let a man make you split on a first date? Some men are providers and some men aren't. Some men want to give you the world in that aspect, and some men want to do 50-50, and that's fine. That's not what I want. I'm sorry, but if I'm having your baby, if I'm giving birth to a whole ass human and going through everything that I have to do for that, I am not doing 50-50.
Men are just tired of this nonsense, man. Trying to be provider for who? Are these people even worth it? Let's see some comments. Women and pastors and the government can talk and shame and gaslight all they want. mgtow men are not listening anymore. Let them turn to dust. Man, that's exactly what we are doing. Enjoying our life. Did they think forcing men out of marriage and not being able to raise his children would lead to a better society? Really? And I'm not a rocket scientist, and even I understand it. Exactly. They give so much credit to like single mothers, all that nonsense about empowering women and stuff. They forgot that men are required in life, and they remove fathers completely, and this is the result. Oh no, the wage slaves are revolting. It's one thing if you have never worked, but a lot of these men have put in 20 plus years of hard work already before they start to relax. For me, it was 35 years. Exactly. I'm just glad that such videos or anything are helping young men to understand that you don't have to work hard nowadays, because most men work hard to build a family, but nowadays no one is aiming for that because there aren't any good women to have a wife. I'd rather just enjoy your life in a simple way without working and breaking your back and all that stuff. Just enjoy your life, man. That's just me. Let me know what you guys feel about this.
Women will no longer date in 2023. Guys, I'm afraid to tell you that for the average man, there is absolutely nothing you can fulfill in a woman's life that she herself cannot. Now, this wasn't always this way, and in fact, in thriving relationships, we both played vital roles in each other's lives, helping each other out through the polarity of our energies. But you see, today, guys, the modern man has completely fallen. There's no substance, there's no structure, no direction, no purpose, no base, no financial stability. What can you offer her now that, like I said, she cannot do herself? If we're to fix this future generation moving forwards, we must rise back up in our spiritual authority, our fitness, finances, direction, clarity, conviction, basedness as men. Masculinity has qualities and characteristics that no woman can possibly emulate. But it's up to us to truly hop back into that frame and not just play life on easy mode.
Wow, these Sims are crazy, man. It literally said, don't live your life on easy mode. Work hard so that the woman in your life can steal all that work and divorce you when she feels comfortable. Man, this man makes no sense. And of course, the comments gonna be all about a woman supporting this kind of nonsense. I don't even want to show these comments because those would trigger you, like the way it's triggering me.
The cost of dating. Originally, I was gonna do a talk about how expensive it has become for men in the dating world, what would the cost of things like the dating apps, not to mention going out to dinner, or the cost of the dates themselves, especially with regard to the increased expectations today's women have on just how much money men should be spending on them when they go on dates. Which is why I posted on my various social medias asking single men to tell me how much they spent on average on a typical date, and how many dates per month they were going on. I also asked how much they were spending on things like the dating sites and whatever other means they were using to find dates. My goal ultimately was to get a rough number of just how expensive dating has become for the average man in 2024. And to be fair, I had a few that responded with their actual numbers, which ran the gamut from $150 a month all the way up to a couple thousand. But that doesn't even come close to telling the tale. Because the number one answer by a country mile that men gave me was zero. That's right, the overwhelming majority, and I'm talking 90% plus of those who responded to my query said they don't spend a single cent dating anymore. They've walked away and aren't coming back anytime soon. Now, I knew I would get some zero answers because I see those things all the time in the comments on my videos, where guys say they're done and walking away from dating. But 90%? Wow. Now look, I'm not trying to claim this is a scientific survey by any means. Some will argue that I'm relying on the self-reporting of these men and what they're telling me, which is a fair point. But the reality is, that's not all that much different from what those so-called scientific studies do. Add to it, when you combine the results of my unofficial study with the literally hundreds of thousands of comments that I've gotten on my videos just this year alone, saying the very same thing, well, that's not something that should be so easily dismissed or ignored.
That makes me so happy that men are saving so much money by not getting involved in this. Like, people are spending zero on dating. That's amazing. Somewhat still trying to date some. That's why you mentioned that he still got some men claiming to be spending hundreds and even thousands. But eventually they will come to the same group who spends zero, because the kind of women we got today aren't all that much trouble. Let me know what you guys feel about this. We got some comments for this. I spent a decade overseas in military. When I returned, every girl seems to think she's deserving of a Kim Kardashian lifestyle, so I refuse to date. 62, single, not looking, and happy. Zero on dates, 100% content. Exactly. Man, enjoy your life. Don't spend your hard-earned money on this woman. Next thing men need to do is stop the simp on OF. See, we cannot stop such men. Everyone has their own mindset, and such men are actually kind of weak because they're easy to tempt. You can find such contents freely on internet, but they still feel like paying this woman. I really don't understand why. Ladies, the men have left the building. The bears await you. Exactly.
Many women say they are finding it very hard to find a man who makes as much as they do. And this is changing the age-old mentality that men are the breadwinners. And researchers say they are seeing a trend of women dating down, which means, a man who...
Dating down.
So women, we're more educated now. And so with that being said, we're going to hold off on the baby making. We're going to hold off until we get that great job, really career driven. And I don't think there's anything wrong with hoping that there's someone either on your level or higher than you.
So before, right, it was okay when the man made more money to be the one to buy everything, to do, treat you and all this other kind of stuff. And now that you make more money, you can't be that one because you're dating down. You wanted to make more money. Right. Are you going to find many men out there that makes as much as you do?
And my point is, so now you're going to, because we hear so much about women that are like, oh, there's nobody out there, there's no one out there, I can't find love, I'm getting too old. Now you're going to sacrifice the fact that you could find that love because the man's not making that much money?
See, when men used to date down, it was normal. It was gentleman. But now a woman that make equal money above what a man is making, all of a sudden she is dating down and degrading such kind of practice. It's crazy how their brain works, man. It's stupid.
I do not accept a coffee or a walk as a possible date option, and neither should you. First of all, I'm not a dog that needs to be walked. Second, I have an espresso machine at home, works fabulous. We're not doing drinks either. You're gonna try to get me drunk and take me back home. No. We are doing dinner. You're gonna pick me up. We're gonna come to the restaurant. We're gonna see your table manners. We're gonna see what you order. We're gonna see, do you hold your chopsticks correctly? We're just gonna, study you a bit. Okay? So dinner it is.
Later.
I understand you guys say that dinner is high maintenance. But that's just like what I'm used to, Sorry if that offends you.
Later.
The biggest mistake people in their 20s are making, they're trying so hard to find love. Don't get me wrong, love is great. It feels great when you find somebody. However, your 20s are made for you to get to know who you are. Learn about yourself, travel, explore the world. And then one day when you're gonna be so happy with who you are and you're gonna be so content with your life, the right person is gonna come into your life that's gonna match that energy.
I started the egg freezing process. I did some preliminary tests which showed that my egg count is really low.
What? Your 20s are made for you to get to know who you are. Learn about yourself, travel, explore the world.
My egg count is really low.
Action, reaction, cause, and effect.
It still might be that my eggs are high quality, but there's just not a lot of them. It's just so sad. I've been like crying the entire day. And you know, people say like, oh, you're not alone. This happens to so many women. But I mean, it feels really...
If this series of videos didn't make you understand, or any woman watching this didn't make her understand how actions have consequences, and really bad ones, that you have to take decisions at right point in age. You cannot mess up if you want to have family and children. You have to deal with this if you mess up. You have to freeze eggs and all that stuff, because no man is going to wife you up if you're in your 20s and try to experience a life. Because we all know what kind of life we want to experience. Plenty of eggplants, that's the kind of life you want to experience. And a normal dude doesn't want that. Maybe if you find a sim, but there are plenty, sadly, thanks to OF and all that stuff, there are plenty, but still. The ones you want, the masculine kind, the hardworking kind, no, such men don't want you. It's a hard reality and they understand it after it's very late, sadly. Let me know what you guys feel. Let's move on.
One of the things that I find hilarious and fascinating about dating in your 40s after you're divorced is the number of women who are absolutely adamant that they will never, ever get remarried, myself included.
Thank you, Jesus!
And the number of men that would be more than happy to. And at first you'd think, well, that seems weird. Really? Well, of course they would. They want another wife. Having a wife is great. I want a wife.
Go ask that to lesbian couples. See how that marriage is working out. I mean, a wife, well, they have no brain cells. They really think men are dying to get married again after getting divorced, after losing half of everything they own?
Julia Fox in an interview talked about how she's not dating men anymore. I do think this is part of a larger trend within a lot of women online and just women in general of like giving up on men, giving up on relationships, just reverting back to what feels safe. I'm never gonna date men again, ever again. Like when my friend says that to me, like I wanna, you know, go deeper into that. And like, will that really make you, and maybe it will.
Let's see the comments where all the chats and Chiron had destroyed this woman. It's a sad realization that the partnership we long for doesn't exist in this world. Maybe for next generation. I've been so traumatized by men in my family, in society, on those I've dated. I'm exhausted and guarded. I think I'll be fine with friends and dogs. How many bad experiences do we have to have before we believe that we are done? I have done the inner work and made a conscious decision. I'm done. Life without men is so peaceful and joyful. I'm so much more happier single. I've been celibate for years and also in therapy for past 3. The amount of peace and joy experienced is unmatched in honesty. It's funny that they have to do therapy to find peace. It's crazy.
If you've been curious about dating multiple people, but you're like, I can't even get one date, this video is for you. So if you're having a hard time finding men to date, we have got to talk about expanding your dating field, okay? Now hear me when I say this. Expanding your dating field does not mean lowering your standards. I could go on about standards versus expectations, but that's a whole different TikTok. But if you're saying you can't get many dates, to me, that says your selection process needs to be opened a little bit more. It also might mean how you're selecting the dates needs to be looked at again. Because I say this with love, because if you're on dating apps only selecting people that you think you're attracted to, big mistake. And I also hate to say this, it's a little shallow. Because ask yourself this, because if the guy of your dreams who treats you like a queen could be one swipe away, but you're judging him on a little bit of balding right there, his waist isn't snatched, whatever the thing is, you could be selling yourself short. And of course, tell me what you think in the comments.
I think first of all, women should not be the one judging guys on their appearances. Because if men start to judge based on that, you won't be even qualified to be around them. That's the reality, but they don't want to accept that.
The only thing I'm going to be doing at 12 o'clock tonight is kicking any man away that tries to come near me. You're not going to ruin my year on day one, my love. You're not doing it this year. So, no New Year's kiss. I've got a husband. Yeah, he's invisible. But here we are. So, if you see me out tonight, don't approach me. Because you get one of them, mate, straight to the face. with that ring on, you'll be out like a light.
See, I understand this is just a woman joke. But let's step back a little and think if a man can make such jokes. He would be cancelled and in jail by no time, man. Imagine hitting a woman is a joke. And imagine if she actually tries to do that. I mean, most men would try to avoid because they don't want to be in any kind of legal situation. But men who don't care, man, they will... Man, I don't see... She has no idea how capable men are once they start to fight back. It's crazy.
There was a study done in the 90s, and what they found out, I think, still holds true today. So what they did is they took a group of men and they took a group of women and they categorized these men. So it was like high status, t-shirt, McDonald's. Same thing with the women. High status, t-shirt, McDonald's. And then they asked, you know, the men, okay, would you go to coffee with this person, go on a date, marry? And in all three categories, the guy didn't care. He's like, yes, sure, whatever. With women, it was a whole different story. Women went to the high status man for the majority of them. So that was for coffee, date, marriage. My takeaway on this is just goes along with the trends I've been seeing. So we are in this Kardashian culture and have been for, 10 years. I don't know how long they've been on. But this idea of perfection has just been kind of unseen before. I mean, before we had magazines, we knew they were kind of airbrushed, but what we see now, women are doing eyebrows, microblading, dermaplaning, eyelash extensions, hair extensions, lip fillers, cheek fillers, breast implants, butt implants, fat transfer, taking ribs out. I mean, literally women are taking their ribs out. So I think just the pressure and the unattainable beauty that they put on themselves, they're also putting that sort of unattainable image and desire on a guy as well. And that's why these guys are backing out, because guys know, that's crazy. We can't do all that. Some can. I mean, it's the small minority.
What was that at the end of the video? She was indicating that men would also like to change their physical appearances. I don't think any man interested in that, at least not straight men who want natural looking women. Such men, I'm not interested in those things. And that study about women only choosing rich guys, well, that will never stop happening because it's their mindset to have better option. And of course, the laws will make them steal half of that or even more than that. So that's why they're going to choose such men and marry them, because even if it fails, they know they're getting something out of it. So they don't have any risk in that. Only men have risk. Let's see some comments for this. Society forgets that it's men who built it and men can destroy it and build it back again. Exactly. We can watch the world burn and we don't even care anymore. No wife, no kids, more fun, more freedom. It's as the old saying goes, a child shunned by his village will one day burn it down just to feel its warmth. Well, I'm sure we won't go to that extreme, but it's just a phrase. Men gave up on Rome. By the end, there wasn't much to destroy. It was already rotten from the inside out. Exactly.
No, dog, I gotta get my DNA test shot. I'm not the father, dog.
You're not the father?
Not the father, dog.
Congratulations. I've never seen a man so happy. If you've ever seen a man walking out of a DNA test figuring out that he's not the father, you'll see a happy man.
Stepdads are men that women wouldn't date if they didn't have kids. Let me read that again. Stepdads are men that women wouldn't date
if the women didn't have kids.
If they didn't have kids. Facts. It's crazy.
Facts. Yeah, facts.
It's horrible.
That's techie.
Yeah.
That's facts though.
Gentlemen, please do not let feminism, social media tell you or make you think that we don't need you. Trust me, women are craving masculinity. They're craving men. We need you. We just want to come home and go to sleep on your chest. We just need to wake up next to you knowing that you're there. We just need to be able to call you when we're having a weird day, bad day. You're the only one we want to call. I'm going to call my man about that. I'm going to call. Let me see what my man says. Let me ask my man. We need you. Do not let feminism make you believe that you are not wanted. It is far from the truth. Those women are all lying to themselves. Trust me. We need you. So you can't give up. You've got to go after your goals and your purpose because we need you to feel good about yourself. And you need to let us in. You need to be vulnerable enough to let us in, into that little heart there, that thing there. We need to get in there. We want to just get in, okay? We want to all get in there. So you need to let us. But do not be fooled, men. We need you.
Of course they need us. We are their retirement plan. Are they stupid? Of course they want some easy way to live their life once they have their fun in their 20s. They want to marry in 30s. And by 40s, they're tired of marriage, they have kids. Now they don't want you. Accept your money, they want your money. That's why women need men. Don't let feminism tell you otherwise, guys. They need your money.
Please remind yourself of this one thing if you are doing any spicy work online, any findom work, any content creation. If it feels dodgy, it is. See, funny thing about women, we have this really cool thing called intuition. And if you listen to that intuition, then it will never lead you astray. So if something feels fucking dodgy and you've got a client and they're like, oh, can you do this and this or this? And then question after question after question. And it doesn't feel right to you, like they're not going to pay, they're not. So what you felt was exactly right. Tribute first always, or payment first always, whatever you're doing. And then once that clears or once you receive that payment, then and only then do you hand over the content, the session, the blah, 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 whatever you're doing. Please, for the love of God, I just get way too many messages of goddesses and other, spicy content creators saying like, oh, what do I do with this? Trust yourself. I'm giving you permission right here, right now, as a woman, to trust your gut instincts because you have intuition. Please use it. And it is so important that you do so. I want you to be so freaking successful when it comes to this online spicy work and this industry, but you've got to start learning how to trust yourself and not betray yourself as well. Because trust me, I speak from experience that I've done all those things. So that's why I'm here creating this platform to teach you how to build up that strength within yourself and that inner compass that's not going to lead you astray. I promise you that. I know that may sound a little bit woo-woo, but I don't know, like it's my experience and that's what I've had to learn and that's what I want to share with people. And because I think that's so important, if that's something you're really, really interested in learning for yourself, I actually put a whole section in my guide about how to find your feminine power and how to find your worth and utilizing that within this industry so that you can actually have the success that you've always wished for. If you want to check it out, it is at the top of my page. My link is finally working again, but go and check it out.
It's crazy. They got guides for how to be a 304. And I would have laughed at that, but this is just crazy, man. She was saying in woman's intuition, this and that. Guys, that's just basic common sense. Whenever they start saying silly words like intuition, it just means common sense. They finally use their common sense. That's what their word is. This is just stupid. Let me know what you guys feel about this.
Hey Dad, listen to this. Did you know in some countries, men don't even know their wives until they get married?
It's like that in every country, son.
And if you could choose to be born in your own body, but with the mind of Stephen Hawking, or be born in the body of Stephen Hawking, but with your own mind, what would you choose?
My wife and I have been happily married for 2 years.
You've been married for 13.
Yeah, but only 2 of them were happy.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my...
Babe, I can be anything you want me to be.
Be quiet.
Max, what do you want for dinner?
Justice.
Do a magic trick for me.
No, go away.
You're not magic.
I'm about as magic as your dad, mate. And he disappeared, didn't he?
Hey!
Every time I cry, my dog judges me and runs off, so I'm gonna fake cry. I need you. Don't leave me. Hey! I need... Every time I cry, my dog judges me.
Your mom was so dumb that she sold her car for gas money.
Damn, you wanna talk about my mom like that?
Yeah.
Alright, your mom was so dumb, she doesn't know what 13 plus 13 is.
Okay. Mom, what is 13 plus 13?
25?
Oh my god. You're right, Scott. My mom's dumb.
The pound for pound, the silverback gorilla is one of the strongest animals on the face. Bro's majestic. So
I'm going to ask you a question, and your answer better be quick.
Okay.
Where were you last night at 9?
Quick.
I'm going
Cause look at Gaga. She's the creative director of Polaroid. I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about cameras?
You say what now? Ninjas kidnapped my family. I need money for karate classes.
ninjas kidnapped your family and you need money for karate classes.
My kid's been abducted by aliens. I need money to build a spaceship. 100 ninjas is chasing me. I need money for cat there. And one last thing. They stole my song. They call it Despacito. It's called XYZito. They go, XYZito. No.
Welcome to New York.
Puerto Rico.
Holy shit, Leslie. They're hauling all your coworkers off.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Dishwashers, dryers.
Cody Von Marler, you are lucky we're in a confined vehicle space and I need you to drive the car. You're not driving, we're in a red light.
This is New York. Everybody late. Everybody.
Because you're nosy, that's why you are late.
Everybody late. It's New York.
Bitch, that's why you are late.
You want to be on time, go to Jamaica and walk to work. Hey, here's your coffee, man.
What? No whip? No, on top of the coffee.
Drink it.
You compliment girls in front of me.
I don't want to do it behind your back.
That's not, okay. That's not a good answer.
I'm gonna take my car to the McDonald's. I'm gonna eat till I can't no more. I'm gonna take my car to the McDonald's. I'm gonna eat till I can't no more. I got the burgers in the back. Trailer is attached. Didn't have enough space. I compensated for that. Eating all by force on the 7th course. Soon I'm gonna vomit, feel like I've eaten a horse. I'm starting to be humongous, looking like Big Chungus. I'm starting to be humongous, looking like Big Chungus. Riding on a scooter, rolling out a hooter, swallowing all my food.
Did he say riding on a scooter, rolling out of Hooters? No, don't tell me.
Be humongous, looking like Big Chungus. Riding on a scooter, rolling out a hooter, swallowing all my food, man.
No, I can't. What is this?
First of all, I'd like to congratulate you, Jerry, on some good furniture, because it's holding that thing up with the grace of God.
First of all, the chair you sitting in bent. Like, I'm gonna need you to quit.
Her name was KK. Does it stand for Kit Kat?
You look like.
First of all.
Yo, shout out to Caesar, man.
For the mother, what street corner can I find you on?
A white older lady gets on the elevator with me, and all of a sudden, she clutches her purse. It made me feel some type of way, and then it made the whole situation uncomfortable because I'm pulling, she's pulling, I'm pulling, she's pulling, I'm pulling. Just let go of the purse.
Couldn't afford it anymore. Bye. Hey, wait a minute. I've already got one of those. Bye. Hey.
One last adjustment. Got it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear the sound of your own voice?
Yeah.
Oh, baby. Thank you so much. We're so excited. Thanksgiving's in 2 days, and I can call you on your cell phone now, baby, and you can talk to my dad about his head.
Whoa. Are you okay? Is that too loud?
No, not too loud. The boy that's annoying. You don't hear that? I haven't heard it forever. Oh, there we go again, Doc. You know why this guy's smiling? Because he's probably deaf and he can't hear his wife's voice. Doc, please take it off. Empty, please.
Relax. This is a celebration. Trust me, from one married man to another, you're getting it.
I don't believe any word that came out of your mouth.
Hey, what's up, big guy? What's wrong with you? Come on, let go of my hair. Let go. You ever touch my man? What the fuck? It's a prank. It's a prank. It's a prank. My little brother, if he's ever going to get married. Okay, so do you ever want to get married?
No.
Why?
Because you're my sister. That's
Not.
Well, the world. Dad. What? Have I ever told you that I love your cooking?
No.
So why do you keep cooking for me?
Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. And here are some more videos you can watch. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next one.